Thank you for joining us today. My name is Jackie, and I'm the Director of Development with Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center. This workshop is made possible by grant funding from the Kids Hope Alliance for our Tiny Talkers program. The Tiny Talkers program focuses on early intervention for speech and language delays and disorders. There are two main components to the program. The first is to provide our screening, evaluation, and therapy services to children where they are, at their preschools. The second is to educate parents and caregivers about speech and language delays or disorders so they are identified sooner and children receive encouragement and consistent reinforcement wherever they are. When you combine these two components, children that need therapy are more likely to be identified and have a better chance of entering kindergarten with the same knowledge and skills as their peers. At the end of this workshop, you will be given information on how to access a brief survey. This is an important part of refining our program to be as helpful as possible. It also helps the Kids Hope Alliance know that their funding was well placed. I encourage you to take a moment to follow those instructions and complete the survey. If you complete all 4 trainings and would like a certificate of completion, instructions will be provided for obtaining one at the end of the series.
Hello, my name is Lauren and I'm a speech-language pathologist with Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center. In this workshop, we're going to talk about therapy options for speech and language delays or disorders. In the previous workshops, I spent some time going over the different types of disorders and what you can expect from the evaluation process. So I won't get into those details now, but if you missed those workshops, I encourage you to check them out after this one. One thing I will repeat is, if you have any questions at all about whether or not your child might have a speech-language delay or disorder, please have them evaluated. Most insurance companies will cover an evaluation when ordered by their pediatrician. And many will also cover or help with the cost of therapies. There are so many resources available online that can help you gauge where your child should be developmentally. The important thing is that you don't ignore it. When children have untreated communication disorders, it can lead to problems with reading, writing, academic success, social interaction, behavioral problems, and more. Let's say we're at the point now where your child has been evaluated and their provider is recommending therapy. But what exactly is speech-language therapy? Part of the evaluation process involved your provider creating a plan of care and setting goals for improving in the areas where your child has a delay, impairment, or disorder. They use that plan of care and those goals to develop a treatment plan. The treatment plan is a series of activities designed to develop a child in those areas that need the greatest improvement. The series of activities are what we refer to when we say speech or language therapy. It is often simplified and just called speech therapy. Speech therapy is educational, but it can also be a lot of fun. A child may not even realize they're learning and developing new skills. Therapists have a variety of approaches to therapy sessions. When we prepare for therapy, we're not only looking at the goals and the child's age, we also look at their preferences. Does the child respond better to a certain food or coloring method, toy, game, or even location like floor versus table? Therapy isn't always fun and games, though. Sometimes we have to work on behavioral errors while also working on speech or language errors. That means we'll be setting and following rules that the child may or may not always like. There may be sessions where the therapist wants you to participate and others where they won't need your participation. Regardless of the approach, consistency in and out of therapy plays a big role in the overall developmental growth and success of your child. It's important to remember that no 2 children are exactly the same. They may learn in slightly different ways and at different rates, and of course have different speech or language concerns. That's why their therapy plan is customized to their goals. Some children may benefit from only a few months of therapy, while others may need therapy for much longer. Speech therapy may also be supplemented with occupational therapy or behavioral therapy through another provider. As speech-language pathologists, our primary goal will always be focused on the development of your child's speech and language skills. If we recognize that your child would benefit from additional therapies through a different type of provider, we're going to let you know. It's not at all uncommon that speech-language pathologists, occupational therapists, and psychologists all work together to enhance a child's development. There are 2 delivery platforms for speech therapy: in-clinic therapy and teletherapy. In-clinic therapy is when the provider and the child are in the same room. For example, when the child is brought to the center or the provider visits the child's school. Teletherapy is administered through a telecommunication option like video chat or secure website. Now keep in mind, not every therapy can be administered by teletherapy, and not every child is a good candidate for teletherapy. When it is an option, it's a great way to reduce travel time, increase safety, and keep the child in their most comfortable environment: home. If you're interested in one option over another, you can always ask your provider and they'll tell you what's best for your child's therapy needs. You can find more information about communication disorders and the services we provide at Jacksonville Speech and Hearing Center by visiting our website at shcjax.org or by calling the office at 904-355-3403. That concludes this workshop. I hope you learned something new and helpful. This is part 3 of a 4-part series. In other workshops, we review communication disorders, the evaluation process, and the role that parents and caregivers play in supporting children's general communication development and speech-language treatment. You can find links to those below, along with the link to the survey for this workshop. Please remember to take that survey so we can refine this program and continue to receive funding for it. Thank you for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.